had one of those days where you're just sitting there thinking, I'm so awesome, I'm doing this awesome thing, or I'm going towards this goal and I'm going to get there. And then all of a sudden somebody does, eh. That's pretty much what just happened to me. I don't know what's going on, but currently it looks like my Facebook group is being flagged for some stupid reason that I have no idea what's going on. First, it happened with my ads, where I would set up my ads for my business to just get people on to my stuff, just to see the videos, just to get that help, because I know how powerful what I do. Like, I know what it does for people. I know, like, it's just powerful what I've been able to create in the last 2 years. And I wanted to get more people onto that list and to see that stuff, because I knew it would genuinely help them. A lot of what they're learning was putting them on the wrong path and leading to trauma. And I have such a big heart, so I wanted to help them too. Even as I'm raising my prices and building my business to a higher level and looking for those high level clients to work with in a deeper one-to-one coaching session and transform their lives, at the same time, I knew I didn't want to leave anybody else behind. So I created systems in place to start to build more of my YouTube channel, build up my Facebook group, build up everything that I needed to, so that when it comes, I can catch everybody and help them. That was my intention with the ads, was to start catching more people before they go and make those mistakes. And Facebook shut me down. And I cannot get to a single person to talk to them. It's all robots. So the robot has been blocking me. Well, today the robot made a huge enemy of me, because I was teaching a class inside my Facebook group, as I always do every single Tuesday, unless it's a workshop time, in which case I run the workshop. And here's the thing, is that it was all about how to choose the right childbirth class. That's what my content was. Immediately after I put the video on and it uploaded, and I was all excited and couldn't wait for moms to start watching it and getting the information that they really needed, Facebook said, we've taken your video down, it's violating community standards. And then I kept clicking the button to see what exactly was violating the standards. You know what they said? Nudity and sexuality. That's what they said. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, huh? What? No, there was none of that. I wasn't sitting there naked teaching. Like, that would be kind of weird, because, like, no. So what was going on here? Well, there was also no option to tell the robot that it was wrong. So I couldn't say, look, like, dude, here's a screenshot. Do you see any nudity at any point in this? Am I talking about explicit content? No, I'm talking about birth. I'm talking about having a natural birth. Like, that's what I'm talking about. And, like, there was nothing in there, but it got flagged. Now, see, here's the thing about me, is that I have had so many parts of my life where I've been smacked down, where I have wanted something and been told you can't have it. In fact, I talked a little bit about this before, is that when I'm told that I can't have something, I get good and mad and I say, how dare you tell me I can't have this? I'm going to just go get it now, just to spite you. And then I'm going to take pictures of it and I'm going to send you the pictures. Like, sometimes when my clients tell me that they were told by their doctor that they couldn't have a home birth, I'm like, not only are we going to have a home birth, but you're going to have the home birth, and then you're going to go back to your doctor and you're going to tell your doctor how you had the home birth. And like, you're basically going to show them that you did it. Because even though it's a little cheeky, I just love to prove people wrong when I know that they are actually wrong. I love to prove it because it can help shift their opinion. Another thing with my family is they didn't believe I could have a home birth. They didn't believe I could even handle the pain of a natural birth. And so I'm like, not only am I going to do this, but now I'm going to do this at an even stronger level. Now I'm really going to do this. Because the more you tell me that I can't do it, the more I'm like, I don't think so. You're not going to tell me that. I'm just not going to tell you that I'm going into labor. And I'm just going to put a picture of my kids cuddled up together in my bed. And you're just going to get the announcement of the baby being born that way. Because I got fed up. I got so fed up with them telling me that I couldn't do this. Another couple of years later, when I started my mom blog, I ran an article on a local birth house that's no longer active. But at the time, I thought this is revolutionary. This is going to help moms to be able to no longer be controlled by the hospital, because they're going to have another option outside of just staying home. They're going to have an option to be closer to a hospital, but rent out a birth house that's technically their suite, like an Airbnb, and then they can do whatever the heck they want. They can choose to have a VBAC, even if the hospital says you can't have a home birth after cesarean. They can say, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be in this birth house. And if something goes wrong, I can just go to the hospital and it's nice and close. I felt that it was revolutionary. Fraser Health didn't like that. Apparently, my little blog post got a lot more attention than I thought it was, and it was getting attention from the health authorities. And the health authorities thought that a midwife whose birth house it was the one that put me up to this. In truth, it was the opposite. I had decided this is an amazing thing. I'm going to write this article. Then I told her, I sent her an email and I said, hey, I just wrote this. I'm not going to post it unless you approve it or if you want to make any changes to it. But I feel that this would be really good for our community and I want to support you. And she gave me the permission. She said, this is perfect. And she let me run it. She said, go for it. So I posted it. And 2 months later, she called me up and she's like, look, I need you to take it down because I'm getting a lot of heat for this now because they think that I put you up to it. And I'm like, well, that's not true. I mean, you even have proof that I didn't put you up to it and that you didn't put me up to it. Like that, this was just, I wrote this because I believed that it was right. And like, there wasn't any actual inflammatory commentary about the medical system, unless you consider me saying that moms who want to have a completely natural hands-off birth can't really seem to get it in our health authority because they don't know how to support physiological birth. And there's all these restrictions, which there are, and they're going to tell you that you're not allowed, which they do. And they're going to put all these restrictions on if you're even allowed to consider having a home birth, which they do. Like I was telling all true stuff, but it was stuff that they really didn't want advertised. And so I had to pull that article. However, here's the thing about me. I don't just pull something and give up because I knew that this was important. And so I was like, no, we're not doing this. We're not just going to quietly go back under the rug and not make waves. To hell with that. I like to make waves. A drop in the ocean creates ripples. Many ripples create waves. Enough waves will change the tide. So we have to drop things into the ocean. We have to create those ripples. We have to create those waves. We cannot go back to just letting things go the way they are, knowing that it's an injustice and being like, well, there's nothing we can do about it because the big dogs are now coming and saying we're not allowed to do that. Nothing in history has ever changed for the better by letting the big dogs win, ever. Just never happens. You have to be able to make those waves of change. If we didn't have that, if we didn't have women misbehaving all the time, we wouldn't have the vote today. We wouldn't even be able to own our own property. We certainly wouldn't be able to divorce our husbands who are treating us like property and beating us. Like we wouldn't even be able to keep our children. So making waves is good. And so in place of that article, because I'm cheeky, I wrote a different one that said that birth work and advocacy needs to be for all of us. And this was the basis of what I created my dream vision for empowering moms in birth and pregnancy and beyond and everything else I'm doing and creating in building my business and my coaching practice. There's really something else deeper going on, which was, we need to take our power back and see birth as what it really is. It's a business right now. And there's a consumer base of that business that does not know that the big, highly medicalized corporation of which most births happen in is not helping them get what they really want. They're not going, customer is always right. They're saying, we know what you need and we're going to just give you that. And if you make waves, if you make trouble, we're going to come down on you because you're wrong. They're making the customer wrong is basically what it came down to. And I was like, that's it. That's it. First of all, moms need to know that they actually are customers and consumers, because right now they're thinking that health authority makes all the decisions and they don't know anything. So that was what I realized. It's like, that's it. I'm not putting up with this. I just don't put up with that. You tell me no. You tell moms that they're not allowed. You say that I'm not allowed to have something. And I find that way. This speaks to tenacity, which is a very powerful skill to have, and a trait that you want to cultivate in yourself is tenacity. If there is something that you truly believe in, that you know is going to benefit thousands, hundreds, millions of people, even just one or two people, if you know that there's going to be something that is going to be able to revolutionize for the world in the better way, that is going to allow for more abundance, is going to allow for less suffering, then that is something you really want to hold on to. It's not about making a whole bunch of money. I mean, sure, you want to be comfortable and you want to have a good life, but the tenacity comes when that dream is bigger than yourself. So, how many roadblocks have been thrown up against me in my empowered birth journey? Well, here's the first one. Very obviously, I was told that most small businesses fail and that I should never start one because I just don't have that entrepreneur mindset, they said. I should just get a job and make some money and just do that. And that was what was pushed on me all of my life. So I had always had this dream to work for myself. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I did know I wanted to help people. And I did know that I wanted to work from home, and I wanted to spread my wisdom and creativity and be able to write. I love to write. It's my favorite thing to do, is to sit there and write and create things. And that's what I get to do most of my day. Yesterday, after working on the videos and editing them and setting them up for another thing that I'm going to be offering moms, I've basically decided to offer my workshop and just keep it open. But I'm creating the pages right now, and the email sequences are being changed, and I'm writing some stories in there as well. And I'm just really excited about it because, like, I get to use my creativity and I get to use it in a way that helps people. And this is what I did with my blog too. But a lot of people would say, oh, you can't have a natural birth. Natural birth is painful. Big block on me. Nobody's going to pay you for that. Big block on me. You don't know anything about marketing. Big block on me. You're not going to be able to afford anything that's going to allow you to start your business. Big block on me. My house literally burned down with 6 years of business ideas and information and what I wanted to create for moms, and my blog posts and future ideas, future things that I wanted to create. All of that on a hard drive melted. My flash drives melted. The only thing I had left was a tiny little cloud that had maybe about 10% of what I had created over the last 6 years. And what I said, I will never forget it, because I just looked at all of that stuff that was all destroyed and I said, that's not going to stop me either. I'm going to rebuild because this is too important. And every time that I would start to give up on myself because I didn't know what I didn't know at the time, I couldn't figure it out, and I hadn't found the right educators yet. I didn't have the right facilitators in my life. I didn't have coaches that I have now. I didn't have the support I have now. And I would give up for a moment. That is when the universe would give me a little nudge to remind me how important it was. A mom would say out of the blue, you know, what you did for me 6 months ago really helped me to have the birth that I had. And I really appreciate you. I never would have known this if you hadn't reached out to me, because I would get a lot of blocks in the mom groups too. I would put information. You don't actually have to induce. And then a whole bunch of moms would be like, well, you know, you're not a doctor, blah, 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 and try to discredit me. And then there was a point where I was even blocked from Facebook groups or blocked from posting. But never, ever give up. No matter how hard it is, no matter how many people tell you that you are just wasting your time on something that truly speaks to your soul, that you know is helping people, that you have proof, that you have a proven system now, that you have helped hundreds of people or even 2 or 3 people, and they've had amazing transformations. And you're like, no, this needs to be out there. This needs to be said. This needs to be here, because otherwise people are going to just suffer. Like, it's the way it is. So yeah, I want my empire. And at the same time, I'm getting hit with so many different things. Like, YouTube has been like a refuge for me now. I've built my system. I'm thankful that I had enough foresight to start creating that channel earlier on in the summertime, because I was thinking in a different direction. It's like, well, this will just be an extra way for me to go and send things through the email list. And then I can take all the videos that I've already put through the Facebook group, and I can just keep putting them on YouTube a couple of months later. That was my old process, and it worked. But now it looks like I'm going to have to pivot to YouTube. So I'm just going to have my YouTube channel, and I'm going to have my email list. And if my Facebook group gets shut down, so be it, because that's not going to stop me. I will just go into other people's groups, and I will talk to moms in the groups, and I will connect, and I will get my message out there, because it's important. And I'm going to invite you to do the same in any aspect of your life. If there is something that is deep within your heart and your soul, and you just know that it is the most amazing, extraordinary thing, and that when you finally have it, it's going to change lives and it's going to go beyond you, hold on to that. Don't let anything stop you. Don't make excuses. When you have an excuse of, oh, I can't do this because I don't know how to figure this out, figure it out. That's the first step. When I started saying, when people would tell me you should have a podcast or you should do some videos, I'm like, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to build an audience. Guess what? When it came time to the point where I'm like, I can't sit on this anymore, it's too important. It's now like the C word has come. It's 2020, and I can see what's happening, and moms are getting smacked down even more in what they want for their choices. They're being told no, 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 and they have no support. And I need to get my book written. I need to get an audience. You know what I did? I went out and I looked for information. I was very targeted. I'm like, I'm going to learn how to write a book. I'm going to learn how to self-publish, because I don't want to waste time trying to go to an editor and a publisher and have them say my book is not good enough. I was not going to allow that to stop me. So I went and I learned. And then I ended up being like, I'm going to create a course. And I went and learned that. And it's like, I need to learn how to sell. And I learned that. And I need to learn marketing. And then I learned that. And I started to get those pieces. So by the time that my teachers actually showed up, I could see the value that they were offering. And I could see that they were the ones that I needed to learn from. Because again, it's about the right education, the right environment, and the right facilitators, and getting that right support. And then having that right mindset too, if I can learn anything. So if you're like, oh, I don't know how to do this, or I'm too old to learn tech. No, 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 no. If this is important to you and important to the world, get out there and learn it. If you feel that there is someone out there that you can stand for their highest self, and it's like, well, but they'll never want to be friends with me. They'll like, who am I to help them? Who am I to enter their life? And what value do I have? Well, that's the wrong mindset, because the truth is that you can add a lot of value to someone. Even if they seem to be high above you, The fact is that you can get to their level, and it's actually beneficial for you to do all you can to get in front of those people, because they are the ones who are going to help you grow. They're the ones who are going to see your patterns, and they're going to say, look, that's not working for you. And if you want to get to this level where I'm at, here's what you need to do. They can help you, show you the map. This is what I do with my friends all the time. It's like, you know, that's not actually going to work. Here's something that might work. And I love you and support you, and you can choose any way you want to go. However, I've been where you're at. I know the pain. I'm going to empathize with you in the pain. And then we're going to move forward, because I see you bigger than you see yourself right now. And I want you to reach that level, because I know that once you do, you're going to just light up, because you're going to become more of yourself. And I do that with everybody, even my kids. And I do that even with people that are like making more than me and more successful than me. Why? Because I actually have that right mindset. So this is also how I ended up in the birth community in the first place, because I knew when I was seeing all the moms getting smacked down, I knew that there was another side to the story. I'm like, there is something going on here, and there's something going on with the birth community. I need to get in with these birth workers and pull back the curtain and see what their struggles are. And once I saw that, that's when I was able to put the pieces together and create what I've done. And like, I do that with everything in my life. So first of all, if you really want to know how to have tenacity, make sure your dream is bigger than yourself. Make sure that it encompasses like the whole world, what it can do for your children, what it can do for your family, what it can do for your friends, what it can do for people that are already in pain, and also what it can do for you to reach that next level of your growth and your potential. Next one, you make sure that you go out and learn things. You don't stay with, I don't know how to do that, so it's never possible. No, go out and learn it. There's one more thing that I can say, and it's this. You cannot fail if you don't give up. I don't know how to quit. If I quit or give up on something, it's because it wasn't actually serving me, and I just don't need to think about it anymore. I have no regrets. If something's not serving me, why would I keep spending my energy and time on it? Why not put my energy towards something that actually lights me up and actually works for me? So a lot of things that are on the should list, you can just toss them out. Because if it's not something that makes you feel like it's where you need to go, you toss it. For me, it's as simple as I have my own way of connecting with people. I have my own systems that I put in place for how and where I want my business to go and what I want to do. And the people that I've surrounded myself with are the ones that understand that and can also give me some advice when I might be falling off of that path, and they can get me back on it. I'm not distracted by shiny objects at all. Like, people can come to me and they can say, oh, well, here's this piece that you might want to try. And I'm like, I mean, I might think about that in the future, but right now I'm really focused on this because this is what's working. This is where I need to put my focus. And that's for anything. The same thing as if somebody is giving you a chance to go on a trip. Well, if that trip is going to light you up and you know that you're going to have a good time, then absolutely. Or if it's a family event and you know that you're going to have a good time and that it's going to allow you to have that connection. But if it's a family obligation and they say, well, you should be there because of this, and if you're not there, then everybody's going to be disappointed. Well, I still look at it in the lens of, look, I love you. I support you. I will come to something else, but this is not going to work for me. So here are a few options that you can have. And that allows me, again, to stay tenacious to my goals, because I don't get distracted. So don't get distracted. Keep your dream as big as you can possibly make it, so it goes beyond you, so that if you, well, not if, but when, because this is inevitable. This is inevitable. You're going to have a moment where something's going to come up. It's going to be a big hand in your face or something else that blocks you. that says you can't do this, it's very, very easy to just crumble up on the floor and give up. Hell, I've done it quite a few times in my life. And every time that I've had those moments of that utter despair, fetal position, curled up in the darkness, no light, there's always that moment right before I give up, when I imagine what it would mean if I gave up, what it would truly do if I gave up, who would not be able to benefit, who would be left in pain, who would be left without help, without that light to guide them if I give up. I look at how it affects my children, how it affects my partner, how it affects my friends, my family, how it affects the women that I've helped over the years if I was never there. It's basically like the darkest version of It's a Wonderful Life. If I was never born, if I never did this, if I never kept going, if I just gave up, what would that do to everybody around me? What would that do to the world? You're here for a reason. You need to recognize what your contribution is. And if you don't feel that you're contributing to your best ability, and you don't feel like you're giving enough of your gifts and that you want to give more, but something is stopping you, then you find a way to give more of your gifts. You don't let stage fright stop you. You don't let other people tell you that you're not allowed. You don't let other people tell you that you're just going to fail. You don't let other people tell you that you don't know enough to do what you want to do. You certainly don't let some algorithm that tells you that it doesn't allow nudity when there was no nudity in the video. You don't let that stop you. Now, I can sit there and I can try to fight with Facebook and say, look, you need to let me put my videos up. But I'm not going to get to a person, at least not yet. I will find a way. I will turn this around. I just don't know when that's going to be. But for now, I've got my backup plans. That's the one. That's the other thing about tenacity. When you have tenacity, you know that there's always another way. There is always another way to get it done. Maybe the way that you're doing it right now is not working, and there is just no way around it. Like an algorithm, you can't get past that robot. That robot is just going to keep scanning and saying, no, no, it says this, so therefore that is this. And it's like, no, you dumb robot. I'm telling you, it's not. You are not a human. You cannot tell the difference. You are just an algorithm. And I'm telling you that this is wrong, but I can't argue with you because you're going, does not compute. So you know what? Until I get in front of a human being who I can actually speak to and reason with, like, I'm just going to go over here and I'm just going to do this thing. And I'm just going to use this platform a little less than I was using it for other things that I was creating. And I'll just change direction because you're not stopping me, robot. You're not stopping me at all. Moms need this stuff and I'm doing it. All right. So that's my adventure today. I got stopped by a robot as I was teaching an epic class that I'm really excited to edit and then put out there on YouTube, and it will be available later. And if you ever want to reach out to me, you can always send me a message, send me an email. If you have my email. And yeah, I'm not letting this stop me, and I don't want you to let anything stop you either. All right, now go and do what you were meant to do on this planet. Love you.